In this episode, Kody gets visibly emotional as he says goodbye to Meri, calling it the end of an era. But let's be real, he's the one who made this goodbye happen in the first place. It's not like Meri chose this outcome.
Exactly. You can see Meri's confusion and frustration as she listens to Kody mourn the end of their relationship, when he's the one who pushed her away. He made it clear he doesn't see a future with her, and now he's acting like it's some tragic, uncontrollable twist of fate.
So that begs the question, does Kody even have the right to be sad here? Or is this just another example of him trying to avoid taking accountability for his actions?
We're diving into that moment, breaking down the emotions and the layers of blame to figure out if Kody's tears are justified or just self-serving. Let's get into it.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
I was raised in a family with 4 moms and 35 kids. We were members of the FLDS Church, which is a polygamous group run by their prophet Warren Jeffs, who is now serving a life sentence in prison.
I was raised mainstream LDS in Utah. Sam and I have been married for 10 years and have 2 awesome kiddos.
Yes, we do. We want to quickly thank our donors, YouTube members, patrons on Patreon, and all of our wonderful subscribers. We have a big goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
We have also now started our holiday fundraiser. It'll be going through the end of the year for Holding Out Help. They're an awesome organization that helps people who leave polygamous communities and helps give them the resources and tools to be able to go from isolation to independence.
Yes, such an awesome organization. So please see that donate button below, and thank you in advance for all of your donations.
Yes, today we're back at it with Sister Wives, episode 11. We obviously know that the pinnacle of this is Meri moving. So let's start out with some other stuff first. And that would have to be Christine's engagement being announced to her kids.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see her kids. Everybody just keeps talking about how fast it is. Also, it was pretty funny watching them be like, we have to react to the engagement the way that Christine wants. And I think that's such a typical kid thing. Like, we all know, like, the expectation of how our parents want us to react to new news or exciting news.
I just love that that the kids even said that on camera. Like, oh, well, we have to react a certain way, so here we go. Yeah, I can't believe you're engaged.
And yet everybody's sitting there and being like, it's so fast. We're happy, but it's so fast.
Yeah, they're obviously very happy. And so that was exciting to see everyone kind of joining in and getting together to celebrate that moment.
Yeah, I do think the one thing that Aspen said was really telling, where she talked about the fact, she said, I didn't realize how unhappy my mom was with my dad until I see how happy she is with David.
Yeah,
that
was
I thought
huge.
that was, and it was sweet of her, sweet of her to realize and recognize, but also that has to be a little bit sad to realize that your mom's never been her truly as happy as she could have been.
Right. Or that in Aspen's case, that your dad hasn't been a great husband to your mom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard too, to have to deal with that, because no matter what happens with Christine and David and whatnot, Kody will always be Aspen's dad, right?
Yeah.
So to have to deal with that realization that my dad wasn't treating my mom well, that's hard to have to come to that realization as well. And I'm sure she saw signs along the way.
Yeah.
But just the way she put it in this episode was like, wow, these kids really are noticing how much happier their moms are becoming now that they're not with Kody anymore.
Yeah, and Christine's definitely becoming more her authentic self, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that in this episode, Christine even talked about the fact that the way that she's living authentically now, she's like, I would have in the past looked at that as, living in sin or being rebellious. And that made me laugh, because I feel like that happens so often when people leave high demand religions or any religion that has a lot of rules, right? When people leave those and step away, you see this all the time, that the members of that religion or faith will look at them and be like, oh, look, they're living in sin. They're doing all these things that were against the rules. And it's not that people are trying to go against the rules. Sometimes they are. A lot of times, though, they're not trying to go against the rules. They're just being authentically who they want to be.
Or they realize that some of the things that they were told they couldn't do aren't as big of a deal as they thought. And so, if it's not really important that I don't do this, like drink a cup of coffee, then maybe I'll drink a cup of coffee. But then those that are still in the religion will look at them as, see, they left so that they could sin because they didn't want to follow the rules of the church.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I was so terrified of leaving the FLDS church, was because we were told all of these things that look, this is what God wants you to do. This is how you're supposed to live. Look at anyone that ever leaves this church. Look at how bad they are now. Look at all the sinning that they're doing. They're drinking alcohol, maybe. They're drinking coffee, maybe. They're watching movies that they shouldn't be watching. All of these things would scare us to stay. Oh my gosh, yeah, if I leave, then I'm going to be on Satan's ground and he's going to control me and tell me and whisper in my ear to do all of these awful things. And so it was a fear tactic that was used, especially in the FLDS church, and I know in other groups as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like,
Yep.
they say that's going to happen, and then when someone leaves and they realize that the rules don't matter the way that they thought they did, right? Then when they realize that coffee doesn't hold morality, that it's just a beverage.
Yeah.
When you realize that, and then you're open to it, and then people can point to you and say, oh, look, there they are, sinning.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing Christine's perspective. Obviously, though, she's living very authentically now. She has her bald, tattooed, motorcycle riding fiance now.
I love that one of her requirements for someone to date or someone to marry was bald.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. There's a lot of great looking bald guys out there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not typically what someone specifically is looking for. Is I want a bald guy.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
It makes them look so tough, though.
Yes.
She just wants
But he wants a
tough
bad
guy.
boy. He wants a bad boy. That's what she wants.
Even Janelle talked about that, right? The fact that Janelle could pinpoint that that's what she always wanted before she ever met David was cracking me up. It's not like she came up with these after she met David and was like, oh, this is what I want. Like, the fact that Janelle knew, I'm like, okay, this actually was what she wanted before she met David.
And I think one of the reasons the wanting a bald guy stood out to me as almost funny in this situation is because Kody has spent his entire life trying to hide the fact that he's going bald. And then Christine wants someone that is bald. I don't know.
Maybe Christine was like, I want someone who's not going to worship their hair.
Yeah. Kody spent so much time on his hair over spending time with me. I want someone that has no hair.
Hair.
That's what she's thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
See.
It was cute to watch. Janelle finally got to meet David. At this point, they're already engaged. So Janelle's like, I hope I like him.
Yeah.
I think it's so cute how they still call each other sister wives. They definitely have that relationship and that bond. And it was funny because Sam and I were discussing this earlier. I was like, I feel like obviously all of the last couple years, the last like 3 or 4 years, Janelle and Christine got really close in a way that I don't feel like they were super close before.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I assume that way back in the beginning, because you hear little bits and pieces of their story, even before the show started, when between Janelle and Meri, there was this really bad relationship when Janelle came into the family. That's what we kept hearing.
Yeah.
And still keep hearing. And then Christine came in and she kind of helped everyone chill out. You know, she was this person that came in and helped the family. A buffer, thank you. I was thinking wedge. I'm like, that's not right. A buffer to help everyone get along. And so and then it seems like that after that, Christine and Meri, maybe Christine pushed Meri away a little bit by coming in and being that buffer, but created a bond with Janelle, is what it seems like slightly is where that direction went.
But also Janelle and Christine have such opposite personalities that it seemed like a lot of times when they were in group settings, Christine would make Janelle almost a little uncomfortable. Christine would be like, come do this crazy dance. And Janelle's like, absolutely not.
Right. I don't want to. But
Yeah.
but I mean, we all have that friend, right? That or
It's kind of the opposite and gets us out of our shell.
yeah, that helps us get out of our shell and do things we don't want to ever do, but then we still keep hanging out with them because ultimately they're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
So that's kind of how I see that.
That's true. One thing I thought was interesting in this episode is it's kind of let out of the bag that Janelle was the person who told Christine that Kody was not physically attracted to her.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And Kody was like, that was a personal conversation that was never meant to get to Christine, because when Christine had talked about this, like even in the last season, or maybe even 2 now, Kody says he was never attracted to me. I always assumed Kody must have said that to her, which I thought was even worse. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't, like who says that to someone?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he said it at
all is inappropriate. But hearing that Janelle told Christine, to me says that her and Christine must have had a close relationship, because I don't think she would have done that to hurt Christine. It must have come from a place of trying to be honest with her and let her know how things really are.
Yeah, I don't think Janelle was trying to hurt Christine. I think that she was just realizing that, if he's saying this about her, what is he saying about me? And so maybe she needed someone to bond with that could understand equally, and maybe even with some hope that she would get some insight on what Kody's saying behind her back.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, the fact that Kody would say that, and it also sheds some light on why Kody would say over and over and over again that Janelle betrayed him.
Yes, because I'm like, where has Janelle betrayed? And then in this episode, he mentions the fact that, like, he definitely felt betrayed by the fact that she talked about a personal conversation that he had with Janelle and the fact that she told Christine. And there's obviously so much more. I know we say this every time, but there's so much more that happens behind the scenes that is not being filmed, right? And all these extra little things that are happening that we're not seeing can really lead up to a lot of the distrust and the betrayal and the things that they're all feeling that we are seeing on screen.
Yeah, so whether or not Kody has been saying these awful mean things to their faces, or if it's just been, whispering to
through the grapevine.
The grapevine, and I said it to so-and-so. But either way, the fact that he said, I'm not attracted to my wife, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care how that gets to the person. That's just, and he's not denying it. He's not denying that he said that, right?
Yeah, no, he just got caught.
He just got caught. So I can definitely see that once Christine hears that, and this was in Flagstaff, right?
Yeah, this was years ago now at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's no wonder that Christine just started drifting away, probably the moment she started realizing, because I assume she confronted Kody about this, and Kody probably said, yes, I said that, and then, I don't know, that would just cause a lot. Because in the conversations where they were talking in Christine's house in Flagstaff when Christine was going to leave, Christine brought up something along those lines that that you're not attracted to me, or I don't remember exactly how she said it, but obviously the cat was out of the bag at that point, and she was realizing he isn't attracted to me. I'm never going to have the love-filled marriage that I want with this guy, and she just wasn't going to put up with it like Meri did for so many years.
Yeah, It's sad to see. Like I said, I think it sheds light on probably another reason why Janelle and Christine are so close. Janelle's starting to be more authentically herself as well, looking at land in North Carolina with Maddie and Caleb. So I'm excited to see where Janelle goes and watch her kind of get to be more of her true self and who she wants to become. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be really exciting to see, I think.
And also it's exciting to see that she's doing this big move and this big step without telling Kody about it. She's just deciding this is what I want. She's like, why would I tell him? He's not going to be a part of my life. So that's obviously telling on the fact that they're not even communicating anymore. It's not that Kody's not coming over to her house. They're just not even communicating.
Which is the opposite of Meri, who is like, I'm already divorced and even divorced within the church. And yet I'm still going to not only tell Kody that I'm moving, but I'm also going to ask him to come help. And it's going to end up being on our 33rd year anniversary.
Yes. So we'll get into that. But before we do, you're probably all wondering at this point, how do you, Sam and Melissa, with 2 kids at home, how are you able to edit your videos? How are you able to create these shorts and create all of this content 2 times a week? Well, let me give you a little secret. We use a software called Descript. Descript makes editing so easy it feels like magic. You can upload a video or even start from scratch, and it transcribes everything into text. From there, editing is as simple as editing a Word document.
See? Just highlight, delete, and boom, it's done. And because it is a transcription-based editing software, you can do things like remove all filler words in just the click of 2 buttons. In addition to all the amazing editing tools that Descript has to offer, one of our favorite tools that we use every single time is their AI. They help us draft social media posts, create titles, and one of our favorites is asking for help with our YouTube descriptions. Not only does it give us an amazing description, but it also instantly puts the chapters for our video, which is something we had to use a completely separate software for in the past. Boom, it's that easy.
And whether you're editing professionally or for personal projects, Descript saves you so much time and energy. Professionals can use it for team projects, client videos, or even podcast productions.
Or use it personally for everything from family montages to quick social media posts. It's that versatile.
Just click the link in the description and try Descript today. You're going to love it.
So Meri now has the title of favorite ex-wife. And she's happy that she can finally say that she's a favorite.
It's like, hey, it's about time I'm favorite of something.
It only took her moving away on her 33rd anniversary to make this all happen. And watching this move and watching Kody help her was like hilarious, awkward, a little frustrating. I don't know. I feel like it was like all the emotions.
And coincidence that it was on their 33rd, what would have been their 33rd anniversary, marriage anniversary? I think not.
Meri says it is a coincidence. Kody thinks, I don't know about this. I think it's interesting that his severance package has to happen on his anniversary.
Yeah.
But
I
man,
think, well,
the
but
whole
just,
thing.
just based on what we saw here, Meri is loving the freedom. She's loving
Oh, yeah.
that it doesn't matter what she says. It doesn't matter. Imagine going through her life with how many years of trying to prove to her husband that she is worthy of his love, trying to say everything just right, trying to do everything just right to win back his affection and love. And then finally, after 10 years or however many years, she's finally free to say, I don't care what he thinks about me. Imagine how freeing that must be. I mean, if you just put that on yourself for a little bit and just go back to a moment when maybe you were dating someone that you didn't really, I don't know, that it was just difficult to really connect with this person, and then you're freed from them, even if it was just for a few months or a year or so, the ability to be free and just say, I don't care what that person thinks about me anymore. 10 years of that.
10 years is
10
a
years.
long time.
So she was just laughing and having a good time, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah. They were joking around. Like, Kody even, it's so funny because Cody's like, man, this has been like my favorite version of Meri. And it's like, yeah, because the version where she doesn't have to be controlled by you and your list of expectations for her, you could have had a relationship with someone that was like this the whole time.
Yep.
And I think that's what's frustrating for Meri, like throughout this whole process, is when he says things like, you're my favorite ex-wife, or I really like you, or things like that. And she's just like, I've been here all along, and you're the reason that I couldn't be myself.
Right.
Oh, it's so hard to watch.
And of course, Kody puts some blame on Meri, and Meri even admits, hey, I'm not perfect here. I admit that, she says. But Kody tries to put all the blame on her, it seems like, in the sense that, hey, it's just because you were not what did he call her? What did he keep saying? A word about too bossy, not willing to get along. I don't remember the words.
Yeah, he basically said that she had changed as soon as they got married and that he could never live up to her expectations.
So anyway, just seeing him try to put the blame on her was also, I guess, not even surprising at this point.
Although I will say, so during their move, Robyn comes over. And now up to this point, I know there's been a lot of people that have actually not liked the fact that we've given Robyn so many benefits of the doubt, okay, through our journey.
We do that for everyone. We try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. I have to say it is getting to the point where I'm not able to as much because as she's coming, she's super emotional. And we just keep finding out more and more and more about what she was doing behind the scenes, that she was telling Kody that he wasn't allowed to let Meri go, that Meri needed to be the one to leave. And at the same time, she's crying to Meri, don't go, don't give up on this family. But yet she's not letting Meri see the kids. Mm-hmm. And she's not really letting Meri be a part of the family, but she's just like holding her over here in this space. And Christine said in this episode that she feels like Robyn has emotionally manipulated Meri for years, and that's not what a true friend is. A true friend doesn't manipulate somebody. They'd let them go off and be happy.
Right. And I'm starting to wonder now, based on something that I saw in this episode, and I'll tell you what that is in just a second. I'm starting to wonder how frequent Robyn uses her emotion to manipulate people. And I know you guys are all saying, well, obviously she's been doing this all along. But in the past, she has even said, oh, I know I'm an ugly crier. I try not to cry. I hate it when I cry. She says those kinds of things. But now I'm starting to realize, okay, I think she might be crying on purpose. And this is why. After she goes and visits Meri and Kody and they're packing up and all that, she leaves in her car and she videotapes herself. Okay, I understand if the whole crew's there and they're videoing you and catch you in the act and you're bawling because of something that's super sad. I understand that you're not going to be able to hold back your tears. But she's in her car by herself, videoing herself with her phone and just sobbing and bawling. And then she doesn't, I don't know if she even said one word. I mean, maybe a couple words.
Yeah,
but then it's hard, but she's just crying and crying and crying. That's all the clip shows. And then she hits and I guess sends that off to the producers. Here's a clip of me crying. In a normal setting, wouldn't you wait till you're done crying so that you can talk and then record yourself saying something? So because she recorded herself crying and sent that to however that works, that's where I think, okay, obviously she's using her emotions to manipulate. It has to be, even us viewers. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'll get off the pedestal here.
No, you're good. No, it's true. Like, I would just have to agree with Christine. Like, to be playing both sides of it, when if you truly wanted Meri's happiness and you knew that Kody didn't love her and wasn't planning on having a relationship with her, a good friend would have told you, kind of like how Janelle told Christine, hey, I know you think that this is broken. It really is. He's not interested in you. That's what a true friend does, even if it's going to hurt the person, right? She could have been that friend. Robyn could have gone to Meri and said, you need to stop having hope. Kody is not interested in that way. I know that's hard to hear. I'm so sorry. I love you. I care about you, but I don't want you to waste your life waiting on Kody when he's not going to come around. That's what a true friend would have said. But instead, she's telling Kody, you can't leave her. You have to wait for her to leave you. But Meri, please don't leave.
Yeah. So,
it's so frustrating.
I just wonder what her reason for it was. Like, do you think that she actually likes having Meri around? Or what's her reason for trying to hold on to that? Is it because she's trying to hold up to her covenant in her faith that she's living plural marriage?
I don't know. It's weird.
That's where I don't even quite understand, because it doesn't seem like they're going along with their religious beliefs anymore. No. So why even try to keep her around? Unless, I know a lot of you are just thinking this right now because I've heard and seen your comments, unless it's all about money. Mm-hmm. If that's what it's all about, then I guess that's what it's all about. And that ends the argument of what's going on here.
So frustrating, so frustrating. Although watching her be emotional was not nearly as frustrating as when Meri and Kody get up to the B&B and they're unloading everything and Kody says his final goodbye to Meri.
You're gonna skip the whole what's his name, her brother-in-law pushing Kody into. I feel like we have to at least acknowledge that happened, because it showed it in the preview that it had happened, and I'm thinking, oh, this is weird. Why are they doing this? But then when it shows it's her brother-in-law and Kody's best friend that pushed
Meri into
Kody, that was a lot more funny, I guess, that it was him and not them, doing it themselves. But either way, that got really awkward. Meri thought it was hilarious. I mean, it was kind of a funny thing. But then, of course, it switches to Kody with the producer sitting down in an interview saying something along the lines that, yeah, we're laughing about this, but, the vulgarity, because I have a wife. He didn't say vulgarity, but that's just our new word when referring to him. That I have this wife, Robyn, back home, and I need to be respectful of her. Anyway, sorry. It's just him trying to be respectful now after living polygamy for so many years.
Yeah, but
I had to chuckle a little bit.
But getting the person who was your wife a couple months ago backed into you comically in a move is somehow inappropriate. But the fact that he was sleeping with all four of them at one time is not inappropriate.
Anyway. So we just wanted to bring that up. So whoop, Airbnb, here we go.
Airbnb, we're watching Kody say goodbye to Meri and listening to all of his lines, like, it's the end of an era. We had something special. This is the final nail in the coffin of my dream. I'm mourning a loss. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just sad. And you're hearing him say all of these things. And I felt like how Meri felt. As he was saying these things, she's just like, I don't understand. Now, taking one step back for a second, just because you know a decision is right and because you feel like it's the right thing to do doesn't mean that things can't be sad. So there's the piece of me that understands what Kody's saying, where he's happy with his life now. It's just different than he thought, and he's feeling the emotions because of that. That makes sense at a certain level, except for that it's all his fault.
Exactly, and that's just it, is this whole thing, and Meri even says this as well, is what are you doing? I'm so confused. It has been from the beginning. The reason that Meri is not, she tried for so many years. The reason she finally gave up and is not there for him and waiting around for him is because of him. He's been
yeah.
trying to push her away for so many years. Like, what do you expect? And I get that, okay, sure, sad. But I have to wonder, where is this sadness coming from? Is he allowed to be sad? And where is it coming from? Is it because he is just trying to push the blame on someone else once again?
Yeah. Well, and the one that bothered me the most, like saying like it's the end of an era and feeling sad that like this is the last wife of yours leaving, even though you know it's right. Okay, maybe you have the right to be sad about that. When he said, we had something special, I wanted to strangle him because I want to strangle him for Meri. Because I'm like, you want to say you had something special after saying over and over and over on national television that you never loved Meri.
Yep.
That you never loved her, that it's only been this awful marriage right from the beginning. She changed right after you married her, and it's been all these horrible, horrible years, and you never really loved her. And now all of a sudden you want to say, oh no, it was something special. It was something beautiful. It's the manipulation and the gaslighting of it.
Yeah.
That is like so frustrating to me. And Meri was feeling it the entire time. She's like, I do not understand because it didn't have to be this way. This was your choice.
Yeah. And so what was special that they had? That's what I want to know. What part of it was special after everything he has said about her negatively?
Yeah.
What was special? And I think Meri's just as confused. And I think that Kody is just realizing that he's not going to have control over her anymore.
Oh.
Is that the special? Is the special that you're losing control over someone's life? And if that is special to you, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I got very frustrated. I really, really frustrated to see that he was saying those things. And then seeing Jan and Meri's brother-in-law, Cody's friend, and they're both just like,
Yeah, like still in the room.
They're trying to just, they literally turned around to look out the window because it was so clearly uncomfortable for them as well.
Yes, but this does lead us to the question of the week for all of you, which is, does Kody have the right to be sad? Does he? Or is he trying to play the victim when he's actually the perpetrator?
Let us know what you think in the comments. And thank you once again for being here with us. We look forward to talking with you soon.
Talk to y'all soon.